forget the birth certificate, mate. He is still in the top 3 halfbacks in the game.
You cannot forget the birth certificate because
for 2 years you can,
because
mate.
Father Time is undefeated.
Okay, well,
Father Time's undefeated.
But Gordy, I say this, right? If he leaves Manly at the end of the year, unless they get a halfback as good, they will not be winning a comp next year. There are a chance if he's in the team. That's what DCE brings. I'm not saying that.
I'm saying another 60 games out of a 36-year-old body in one of the toughest competitions in the world. That's all I'm saying.
If you got one great season and it got you a premiership, which leads us to the next question about where he goes, and you think about where the Roosters are at the moment, and they have Sam Walker, James Tedesco, Robson comes next year. They've got a powerful young pack.
Crawls, we'll get to where he may land after this, but DCE, you said his reputation took a hit after the Titans backflip, as you mentioned before.
Don't bring it up. We still haven't got over it.
Is there a chance?
Well, that's what happened on the Gold Coast.
Is there a chance that the fans turn on him after this?
Well, it'll be interesting to be at Brookvale this Sunday. Manly plays Parramatta. Will the fans boo him?
Absolutely.
The Eels fans booed Dylan Brown rather.
Of course they will.
But do you boo a club legend?
I think that Dylan Brown's very different to the DCE. DCE's won them a premiership. Yep. He's in great form. He's played very good, consistently. I'd say their best player for nearly 10 years. Yeah. And he's been offered a 1 year, wants a 2, didn't get what he wanted from the club, decided to move on. Very different. I think
if he goes out and has a blinder, they'll be booing the chairman's box, mate. That's what it'll be, one or the other. On Sunday, and that's the unfortunate thing.
They booed Payne Haas when he was negotiating. He's been their best player for the last 7 years. So it doesn't... But that's what fans do.
Of course.
If DCE thinks he's going to run out there and not ruffle any feathers off a Manly...
I'll just throw a link out here, guys, and there's no concrete behind it.
Just don't throw a left and right.
Like last week. Joe Weeby is Daly's manager. Joe Weeby manages James Tedesco, the Roosters fullback. And Joe Weeby manages Reece Robson, who will be the Roosters hooker next year.
We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this a bit later. But you're just leading me down the garden path to the Roosters. So let's talk about it.
Come through the door then. Let's go.
I don't know if I want to go through your door, but anyway, the Roosters, their name keeps popping up, and we know what Nick Politis is like. We know he's missed a few lately. Their recruitment hasn't been ideal. We know they're short on halves, especially at present. We know that they pulled off a similar deal with a similar style of player in Cooper Cronk, which won them a premiership. Could he end up at the Roosters? Will he end up at the Roosters?
I think if you're putting me in the spot, Braith, I reckon the Roosters are favourites. I think if I had to be... Just because I would have said about Joe Weeby, about the Roosters, they need a halfback. Robbo... loves DCE. Nick's very close to Joe Weeby.
Have you heard anything, or is it just your opinion?
It's summation. So I'm not saying he would definitely be there, but I think...
Summation.
Yeah. I think he...
It's your opinion.
Well, yeah. Probably a better way of putting it. Look, adding up 2 and 2, I've come to 4.
Mate, what about the Dogs?
I reckon the Dogs are the Smokies.
Gus loves him.
He makes them into a premiership ready team.
There is a lot of romance about him going back because that's his family name. It's anonymous.
I don't think he wants to go back to Redcliffe with his family. Cool. That's what I'm hearing.
I think
his wife's from the Northern Beaches and the 3 girls go to Northern Beaches schools. So if he does go to the Roosters, he can stay at home and the kids stay at school.
A premiership, and if he goes to, in my opinion, goes to the Roosters or the Dogs, he slides into 2 teams that he takes into premiership contention. He goes to the Dolphins, not so much. The Dolphins, he may get a couple of 100,000 more.
Okay, Braith, you played for both? You played for both?
Yeah.
Which one would you go to? If there's the Roosters and the Dogs.
If I'm him right now, the Dogs. I look at the Dogs team, and I've been saying it for a while. They are a halfback, and this is no disrespect to Sexton because he's doing a magnificent job, but they're a top 8 easy team on the edge of the 4 right now. DC instantly takes them to a top 4 team and takes them into premiership contention. With the Roosters,
the complete side.
The Roosters would be a magnificent buy too, I believe, and he would take them into premiership contention as well. But I think maybe just the Dogs have the edge with the side they've got, the way they're playing, the confidence they've built, the plays, he will make Burton a much better player because DCE controls the team. He is vocal, which Burton isn't. Burton takes a lot of pressure off him. He can just run, kick and do his job, and we all know Crichton and the rest of them. So, I'd lean towards them, but I actually think he'd be great for both teams.
Would he work with Sam Walker? Because Sam Walker's, 100 games into his career, 22 years of age.
Yeah.
He's an out-and-out 7. Cherry-Evans is an out-and-out 7. Would it work together?
You don't think it would?
I'm not saying it wouldn't, because you've seen it in Origin. You just go back to Cooper.
The Broncos
Cronk.
are playing two
Cooper
sevens.
Cronk and Jonathan Thurston is a great example.
I think it'd be fine. I think because Semi's such an instinctive player. Like, Semi plays off the cuff and he's got his little kick and his pass. You don't know whether he's going to play short or long. He's very much played what you see in front of him. And if there's anything he probably needs to work on to get him to that premiership level is his organisational skills and getting Roosters to certain points on the field, which is a DC specialist. I think they combine great. I think he would take pressure off Walker. But what I would do, Crawls, if I'm a hierarchy at the Roosters and this opportunity comes up with DC, I'm going to Walker and I'm going, how do you feel if we make a play at him? And
that's the thing. You wouldn't think it would upset Sam Walker, but given his age and his potential, that's the last thing you'd want to do.
No, you don't need that.
And I do also wonder what it does for their academy program that they've been so outspoken about, that they see this as the future of the club. And all those young guys
it's only
behind
2
it.
years.
But it's only 2 years, mate. It is 2 years.
A lot of them aren't
this
ready.
year, next year, and the year after.
But like the Bulldogs and the Roosters, the halves coming through are exceptional. I think it's Rodwell and Woods at the Bulldogs. They're 2 to 3 years away. Yeah. So it's actually perfect for both these teams.
It gives them more time.
I think for the Bulldogs, it is a perfect marriage.
To give a young halfback one more year is not going to hurt him. Like, to give him a bit more experience, to play a few more games away from the spotlight is only going to help him.
I think you keep Sam Walker in touch with the negotiations, Braith, but I don't think you necessarily go and ask him whether you would approve of a player coming to the club. I don't think he deserves that pressure.
It's not approval. You mean...
well, you said before that you would go to Sam Walker and ask him. If Sam says...
How do you feel?
What happens if he says, I don't want him here?
Well, then you've got a problem.
He wouldn't say that.
He's not going to say that, but I actually think he'd want him.
He's not going to say it.
I think if I'm Sam, I want DCE there with me because they're a better chance of winning.
Because then they believe that they help with the decision.
But you
can't have players making those decisions. Let's be fair. It's a coaching
He's not
decision.
making the decision, but you don't need.
You let him make
player
decisions.
unrest.
You're being upfront with him.
Yeah, you're being upfront.
And treating him with a bit of respect.
Well, that's what I said, Crawls, initially. I said you keep him involved in the negotiations and keep him updated, but you don't ask him whether he gets some sort of approval to get him there.
That's a good summation.
Thank you, Gordon.
All right, so despite Mestroff and DCE, after 15 years at the club and a premiership winner and most capped player, does he leave on bad terms?
He leaves on bad terms, I think, in terms of management, but as a footballer and his teammates and the Manly fans, I think he leaves as a legend still.
Hold on. Why, if he doesn't know what's going on and Manly were blindsided, doesn't that come down to his manager, not the actual management from Manly?
Are you saying it's Joe Weeby's fault?
No, but what I'm saying is, can't DCE, if you've been there that long, if you've got that much experience, can't you pick up the phone? Why has it gone so sour?
But that's what we've been talking about.
I know,
there's got to be a division
DCE.
between him and the management of the club for this to work out like it is. I don't think you can possibly take away what Cherry-Evans has done for that club. I don't think the fans will.
Could it be the coach?
There's a possibility.
Have you guys heard anything?
There's speculation swirling around the last 24 hours.
What's the speculation?
Well, the speculation is he's fallen out with either Seibold or Mestroff. We asked Mestroff straight to his face today. He said, that is bullshit.
Okay.
He has not fallen out with Seibold and he has not fallen out with Tony Mestroff. So Manly is vehemently denying that.
One of the great mysteries of the world at the moment.
But the speculation is there.
One of the great mysteries.
Did you ask DCE?
No.
Someone is not telling the whole story, because the fact of the matter is the bloke that's played the most games for that club, the current captain, is leaving, and he made his decision, as Brave said, on national TV and didn't do it at a presser sitting beside Mestroff and the coach. There's got to be a drama.
Well said. All right, now DCE, when he moves on, I'm hearing they're going to shuffle the deck. So Brooks is going to move the halfback and Turbo to 5'8". Is that the mail? Is that what they're saying?
There's talk around the Northern Beaches that Turbo could shift into 6. I personally would think it would be insanity. I don't think that's Tom's position. Tom's a fullback. Gordon, you're laughing at me because you disagree?
Oh, no, I think Tom, with his injuries, I think he's a centre, right?
Not a 6.
But I've never seen Tom kick the ball. I'm not saying Tom is one of the greatest players. When he's on the field, he's one of the greatest players that our game's ever seen, but I don't think Tom is a
did it.
But
Lockyer did it. Could Turbo do it?
and so did Greg Inglis. Greg Inglis
I realise that.
Greg Inglis played 5'8" in the grand final.
Correct.
The other part to the problem though is Luke Brooks the man that again is going to keep that Manly premiership window open because
They lost their number 7 to South.
Brooksy's done a good job since he's gone across from the Tigers playing that deputy role outside Cherry-Evans.
Yeah.
Is he capable of continuing on where Cherry-Evans was? I'm not so sure.
That's the question mark, and that's the jury is out because even last year when Tom or DCE weren't in, Brooksy didn't play as well as he did when they were in the side. So it's a big responsibility for him in his second year.